Of course, this is one of my favorite comedians. I've been following Corey Holcomb for, man, a long time. From my hometown, Chicago. This is a short clip of his interview with Cam Newton. He speaks about something I thought I wanted to just respond to it real quick, so I'm going to let this play.
with
I
how
think I think with comedy and all parts of entertainment, we need to go back to where there's talent scouts scouting talent, and we get a chance to see the best of us instead of those that were chosen, like the industry plants. Our stars are chosen by the people who are in charge of Hollywood. We're not seeing the best talent. Trust me when I tell you. Some of the best are in the underground, and when they show up and you see them perform, you say stuff like, oh my God, this person is really stand out. I don't know why this person isn't higher up in Hollywood. It's because they don't fit in Hollywood. Hollywood hasn't chosen them.
He's talking about comedians and actors, but he's talking about all forms of entertainment. So I feel like it's a double-edged sword, right? So what we have now with technology's changed a lot. So I'm more from the music industry side of things. Now, when it comes to talent, so back in the day, you did have talent scouts, A&Rs, people who really, seeked out real talent, cultivated their talent, and then put them out, whether it be an album, a movie, commercials, whatever. So I do agree with that. I mean, the talent level is not always the best in certain avenues now. I do think at the same time, with technology, I've been able to discover all types of great comedians through YouTube, man. There's so many great comedians now that did not have to use gatekeepers, because let's look at it. Technology has changed everything. When it comes to entertainment, I mean, look, anybody with a microphone can pretty much put up a podcast and just do what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? As long as you have something to say and people want to listen, you can go ahead and put up a podcast. You can put together music. You can put out your song. You can create a video. You can do a YouTube comedy special. So now everybody's got a mic. Everybody can do it, right? So it does water down the talent. Now, as far as having your talent backed by million, billion-dollar companies, that's a whole nother story. There's still gatekeepers. And to Corey's point, certain stars are still chosen.
how do you feel the state of comedy or entertainment is right now for you?
It sucks. We're not seeing the best talent. We're seeing the people who are willing to do what they are told to do. That's what's happening in Hollywood. And it's gonna sound like bitter grapes, because I got people who I care about dearly who are doing well in Hollywood. People who have helped me. Like, oh man, Corey, come here. You know, they throw me a lick. I'm that dude, all you gotta do is crack the door open. I'm like, cool. Like Nick Cannon, for example. He put me on his show, and I knew this would be a good commercial for me. You know what I'm saying? For people to see me. But they got stuff that they can't show on MTV that I said, but it rocked the crowd. And you know, I've talked about this with Nick before, but I expect it. I don't fit into that. And I'm not bitter at all. I don't fit into that. As long as I got the streets, as long as the streets can come see me, I'll be able to eat. But I wish that Hollywood wasn't set up only for those who will comply.
Now, on Corey's point, now again, Corey's one of my favorite comedians. You know what I'm saying? But I think what he's saying, there's some truth to it. But I also think that you know, you have certain artists who are always going to be who fit into, like he said, who fit into a certain mold. So, you're not going to be, let's say, you're not going to be like Will Smith if you have something very controversial or you say things that are very controversial and edgy. I think it's always been like that, is the point. I don't think it's anything new. I think that that's just called mainstream. Corey is not mainstream, but he's extremely popular, right? And like he said, he's more like a street hero when it comes to comedy. But he's not like, he's not necessarily somebody like an Eddie Murphy per se. Now, Eddie Murphy, obviously, he has some, if you go back to Raw, if you're old enough to go back to Raw and know about Eddie Murphy as a stand-up comedian, his stuff was raw. You know what I mean? But when Eddie went to mainstream movie success, he just wasn't doing that edgy comedy. That he just stepped out of that lane, you know, eventually. I'm not saying he didn't do it in the beginning because obviously he had Beverly Hills Cop and everything early on. But when he did the clumps and all that other stuff, he just wasn't part of that edgy comedy thing. So I think the talent is like that. When it comes to music, it's the same thing. The gatekeepers that were there aren't there anymore, are not going to be there, in 10, 20 years. And that's why, in relation to music, that's why they're buying all the artist catalogs right now. They're buying the artists, they're offering these artists $50 million, $100 million to buy all of their catalog. And why are they doing that? They're doing that because eventually these catalogs, if they're buying it for 50 million, they know they're going to put it in movies and everything. They're going to be licensing this music. If they're paying you 50 million, it's worth 200 million, 500 million, and they're making the money in perpetuity or forever.
In regards to entertainment, in regards to movies, in regards to anything or even music for that particular matter, I think coming from where we come from, not having a lot, when we do get some, that's the restitution that we just was looking for. To just say, okay, bro, I got millions of dollars. I'm a millionaire now. Now I can get out of my specific circumstance.
Look, bro, there is no negotiation. You have been allotted this, and you're going to take it because it's more than all the rest of you got. That's what they give us. They don't give us what we deserve. You'll never get what you deserve. You'll never make enough money to save your people.
Again, I agree with Corey to an extent, but the reality is that in business, you never get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. And the way most business is set up on a larger scale in America is not owned by black people for the most part. So if you're talking about black people, we're not going to ever get paid, or anybody for that matter. You're not typically going to get paid what you are worth. Same argument that Taraji P. Henson had. If people can figure out how to produce their product in relation to the talent, right? If the talent has more ownership in other venues. This is bringing into more of what Dame Dash has been talking about for a long time. People knock Dame Dash, but him starting his own network, people doing things like that, even if they're on a smaller level, there are new avenues. And that's the key, I think, to changing the game when it comes to what you're worth, is new avenues to get your material out there. And that's what it's all about. Let me know what you think in the comments. Crucial Convo.